Hello, my name is Leora. I'm a part-time furniture flipper out of Windsor, Colorado. What started as a hobby in 2020 is now a full-blown obsession. I love taking old, unloved furniture and creating beautiful works of art. Come join me in my studio to see how I make diamonds from the rough. This is a vintage armoire. I know it's at least 1940s to 60s is typical for this style. But from far back, it's in pretty good condition. But then you get up close and you can see that while a lot of these details are intact, there's some dings, some wear and tear. The worst is this veneer, which is peeling up from the bottom. Check this out. This is an armoire for clothes. Here's the original hardware, if you can see. But somebody decided this was a better use of the space. And then they put shelves on here, but the shelves are not secured. I don't believe they're particularly level. I used, for some reason, pegboard as shelving. No idea what this is for. But there is so much potential. So this is going to be an exciting project. Can't wait to get going. Upon further inspection, clearly they decided to change the position a couple of times on the shelves. They have them all over the place. This is going to require a lot of repair, and had nails in the front somehow. And I thought maybe I would just get rid of this board altogether because that's a lot of damage on the inside. And then I realized, nope, it is original, and that's where, not this bar, you see that's freestanding, but this bar is built right into it. So I'm gonna have to keep this board. It also might be for structural integrity. So gonna have to keep it. Just means a little bit more repair work. On further inspection, this is really damaged. So a lot of wood fill and glue to get that together. But also now I've had a chance to look at the floor of this thing. Now the outside is clean, the inside is clean, but I still have to finish cleaning the top because I can't quite reach it, and also underneath because I'm not going to sell this with potential spider nests or dust bunnies underneath there. While I have it down here on the floor, this is a good chance for me to inspect what's going on here on the bottom. So this is why it bows, because this wood is warped here. I can also see that this used to be on casters of its own. That does not need to be hanging out of the bottom. See where this backing here is starting to come away? Now, is that really necessary for the integrity of this piece? Absolutely not. But if it's going to come off, I would rather take it off myself. Just, oop, there's that spider casing that I was telling you about. Upon further inspection, I see that this used to have wood veneer all across the top of this board as well. So that's why it's little strips of it on here. I'm not quite sure what this piece of tape is doing back there. Block might have at one point stabilized the bottom, but obviously it is no longer doing any good. If I didn't like this trim, which I do, by the way, it would just come underneath here with a little putty knife and lift it up. It's got finishing nails and probably wood glue that held that on there. So if I wanted to get rid of this detail and add something else, or just get rid of it because I don't like it, easy enough to do. Now that it's not below 0, to give it some texture, because this was never going to be smooth, and I want to make sure that wood to Bondo doesn't have a delineation in a paint job, so I'm giving it some texture, and that's going to cover that up. So this is a Redesign with Prima stencil, but this time I'm going to use removable, repositional spray adhesive. And I think the thing that I usually do wrong with this is that I don't let it dry to attack. Just spray it on and stick it on. You should kind of let it dry a little bit so that it is sticky enough to hold. The key to a stencil that's this intricate is not to let all your products shove underneath. You want the crisp lines. Looks pretty good. I don't want this border at the bottom, so I'm gonna actually position it a little bit further down so that that part is not showing. And then I'm just gonna stick it on there. I'm not overly worried about this being perfect because I'm going to sand it back and it's just going to be a minor texture underneath. It's not the entire design. And then it's always a good idea still to secure your work. But it's not as imperative as it was before when it was the only thing holding it up. I'm going to use the rest of my 3D stencil paste from Redesign with Prima. So I just put a big old wad on like I'm spreading frosting. Here is where we are after week 1 of this project. I've got my stenciling material put on here, and I wasn't intending this, but I ended up making a tree. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I had really hoped it wouldn't come to this, but I don't want it to be even this thick. So the sander that I thought I didn't have to look at for another few weeks is coming back out, but just for a little bit. I have already painted this side to match the other side, and I couldn't decide if I was happy with this, but after leaving and coming back, I think I am. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a waxing, which is going to be a different top coat than what's on the front, because I don't want to have the waxes I'm going to put over my tree part, I don't want them to soak into the chalk and clay mineral paint, which it would, and I wouldn't be able to buff it off as easily. So I'm going to go ahead and put a base coat of clear wax. This is Dixie Belle wax brush. This is a Dixie Belle La Petite brush. It goes on kind of white, and then you panic, and then once you rub it in all the way, you will no longer see it. It will dry clear. And you can just be sloppy with this. It's going to be clear anyway. Here's what it's looking like up close. I can have it be as perfectly covered as I want, or I can do it like this, where I am just letting it kind of look like it's already worn away naturally, and I brush away anything that's not glued down entirely. So I'm going to brush away all the rest of this and see what I'm left with.